Welcome to Pick Up and Deliver, the podcast where I pick up my audio recorder when I drop my kid off at school and deliver an episode to you while I walk home. I'm Brendan Riley. Good morning, listener. It is Monday, December 3rd, and I am enjoying a brisk, snowy walk home from my son's school. I hope that your December is going well. Here in Illinois, it's maddeningly inconsistent. We had a couple really good days of snow, and then last week we had a bunch of rain, which made the snow melt. The whole place looks like a wet dog. Well. I was able to put out a big portion of the holiday decorations yesterday without too much trouble, so that was quite delightful. Well, today is the first podcast after the beginning of the month, and so I'm going to do my top of the stack check-in. If you missed last episode, I'm taking a slightly more relaxed publishing schedule, mostly switching from trying to do 3 episodes a week to publishing an episode when I feel like it or when I have something to say, which means we'll be a bit more sporadic, but hopefully higher quality. We'll see how that goes. So first off, please do drop by BoardGameGeek Guild 3269 and let us know how your top of the stack went for November. What games did you play? What games did you not play? Etc., etc. So this month I played 56 games, or I had 56 plays of 37 different games. A significant chunk of those gameplays were over the Thanksgiving holiday, when I played a number of party games and other games like that with my friends and family. Overall it was a decent gaming month, although it was not as focused as I need to be if I'm going to finish my 10 for 10, which the chances of finishing my 10 for 10 are not high right now. I will put it out there plainly as can be, not high. So I would like to make a stronger effort to get those done. We'll see how that goes. So let me tell you where I am. The top scorer in my 10 for 10 is Gloomhaven. I put Gloomhaven on here as 10 for 10, and in fact it has reached 20 plays now. So it's covered. I've played it enough to count 2 slots in my 10 for 10, but I can't do that. Only 1 slot. Only 10 of my 100 plays. But I've played it 20 times. A close second, Arkham Horror, the card game. I've played 17 times, which is actually a much more impressive number when you consider that I didn't play it at all until August. It wasn't until August that I got my wife into playing it, and then we have played quite a bit since then. We've played through the base game campaign, we played through Dim Carcosa, and we are now, or the Path to Carcosa, and we are now, wait, was it the Path to Carcosa, or is that the second one? We played our way through the first campaign, and now we're on our way through the second one. I think the first one was the Path to Carcosa, but that makes me not remember what the second one was. Whatever, we played our way through one campaign, and we're most of the way through the second. I think we have 1 or 2 adventures left. We're doing very badly though, so it's hard to get up the motivation to play the last couple because we know we're just going to get clobbered. But anyway, so that's where we are on Arkham Horror. Terra Mystica, I'm up to 14 plays. Really, the thing that has gotten me through on that is finding it on Board Game Arena. I never would have had time to play a game that robust in person. So as I think about my 10 for 10 for 2019, I need to really think about leaving off games of that caliber unless I can get them on a remote system. So that's where I'm with that. Century Golem Edition is at 11 plays. So those are the 4 games that I've completed. So 40 of my 40 of my 100 plays absolutely complete in those 4 games. So my other 60 plays are a bit more tenuous. Stuffed Fables, we're at 7 plays, so we just need 3 more to finish that game off. And a little preview, we've already done 1. We got to table once here at the beginning of December. I'm confident that we'll be able to finish that one. Pandemic Legacy Season 2, I'm at 8 plays. Just need 2 more. Right now we have a game day planned for New Year's Eve with our group that plays Pandemic Legacy Season 2. If we can play it 2 times, that will finish it off for us. Ex Libris, now these last 4 are going to be harder. Ex Libris, we only have 4 plays, so we need to play it 6 times between now and the end of the month. That is going to be tricky. 6 plays means more than 1 play a week on average. And some of that time will be at my in-laws, and my mother-in-law does not like Ex Libris. So we're going to have to knock those out before we go on Christmas vacation. It's going to be a tough one. We need 6 plays of that. Matai and I, we're at 4 plays. If I can just sit my daughter down for a couple hours, we can knock 6 plays of that out. It goes pretty fast. Maybe I'll challenge her to a best of 3 competition. She'll probably win the first 2, and we'll have to stop. But if I can get her on board there, I think getting 6 plays of Matai and I this month is not beyond possible. It'll be tough, but it's doable. Roll for the Galaxy is at 7 plays. This one would be very hard if I had to play in person, but again, on Board Game Arena, I am playing Roll for the Galaxy, and I'm actively staying in a game all the time. Those take 4 or 5 days, maybe a little bit longer to complete. So with energy, I should be able to get the other 3 plays this month. If I can't, I will break out the physical copy. So Roll for the Galaxy seems likely. The hardest one, and the last one, is Via Nebula, the Martin Wallace path building game. Takes 7 plays to finish it. We're at 3. So that between that and Ex Libris, we're looking at a lot of gaming without much variety if I want to finish my 10 for 10, which means we might not. This is by far already the closest I've ever gotten to completing a 10 for 10. But I would like to finish it up. So that's where we are on that. I had a few new games this month aside from my top of the stack, which I haven't reported on. I had 3 other new games that I played this month. Australia, which I did as a Shooting from the Hip episode a while back. That's the new Martin Wallace game, the spiritual successor to A Study in Emerald, although not really anything like it in gameplay, but it's in the same world, and it's entertaining as heck, which is the key part there. Robot Lab, a game from XYZ Games, a local Chicago developer. They're working on a 2nd edition or expansion or something. They asked us to try playing it with a slightly different variation. That was interesting. It's a pretty light game, but for somebody relatively new to game or somebody gaming or somebody young, it's probably pretty fun. A little bit more take that than I enjoy, but that seems to be the modus operandi for XYZ in general, is that they have a little bit more take that than I usually like. They have a game that's soon to deliver called Enoka, which should be pretty fun. That's a card game of bluffing and strategy where you're trying to figure out which card the other person's going to play and anticipate them. It's built on a kind of rock, paper, scissors mechanic with a little bit more to it and a lot of nice art. So if you have a chance to pick that up, especially for somebody who's not a hardcore gamer, Enoka would be good. But the new game I tried, or new to me, was Robot Lab. And finally, I think I mentioned Drop Mix. I picked up Drop Mix for $5, a working, complete copy of Drop Mix for $5 from Goodwill, which was quite a lucky find. And I gave it to my son just as a random toy, and he thought that's pretty cool. I think I mentioned that on a previous podcast, but so we did actually play the game built into Drop Mix. It's not really a game. It's basically just a series of commands so that you can play with the Drop Mix machine. But it was fun. The last bit of reporting for my on the top of the stack on the table report this week is my Out of the Dust gameplays. Out of the Dust is a way of keeping track of games that have taken more than a year since you last played them. I had 4 this month. You're welcome to go to my geek list where I keep track of these things to see what the other 3 were, but I want to talk about the main one, and that was Space Hulk Death Angel. This is a game that goes in cycles for me. I don't play it for a while, and then I pull it out and play it several times within a month or 2, and then put it away again. It's a really interesting game. It's got a couple neat mechanisms that I haven't seen. It's all cards. This is different from Space Hulk, the board game, where you're running around shooting gene stealers in a big ship. This is Space Hulk Death Angel, the card game, and what you do is you have a squad of Space Marines. It's in the Warhammer 40,000 world, and you've found a derelict ship, and you're going to go explore it. So you get your Space Marines, and they're going to explore it, and you set up a location where you're entering, and then you have a couple obstacles like a dark corner and a ventilation shaft and a airlock and a couple other things. And then you proceed, you set up your soldiers in a line, and each round your squad of soldiers can do one thing. They can either support, attack, or move and activate. And each squad has a special thing that they do when they support, attack, or move and activate. If you're playing with multiple players, then you take turns, or you both pick your card and reveal at the same time, and then see what happens. If you're playing solo like I do, you just pick a card for each squad and play them all. I play it as a puzzle game, really. And then your soldiers are all set up in a line, and the aliens are dealt in next to one of the soldiers. And so there's basically, you just go through and you move a little bit, you interact with the terrain. There's these terrain cards. You shoot at the monsters, they try to kill you. What's interesting about the game, or fun about it, is that it's a very punishing solo game. And it's that way because of the die. There's one die that you get that it's a 6-sided die. It goes 0 to 5. On each face, on half of the faces, there's also a little skull, which represents dead aliens. So when you're attacking, you roll, and your goal is to get one of the sides with the skull on it. If you do, you kill one alien. When the aliens are attacking you, your goal is to roll higher than the number of aliens attacking you. So if you have one alien attacking you, just one, you lose a third of the time, just on a straight roll. Because a 1 or a 0 would make you lose. If you have 2 aliens, suddenly you're losing half the time. And 3 aliens, you're only winning a third of the time. So very quickly, you get a mob of 3 aliens, you're going to get wiped out. And the fights are very simple. These are super brutal aliens. Think about the aliens in Alien. This feels like Aliens, the card game. So you have this squad of Marines going through. You attack them. They attack you. During the attack phase that they're attacking you, you roll for each Marine, for each mob of aliens that's attacking them, and see if they survive. And so very quickly, I mean, basically, a Marine who gets attacked by aliens more than once is super lucky if he survives a second attack. Now you can, as one of the things, get these little tokens that let you re-roll the die once, which slightly increases your odds of surviving. There are cards that in the terrain that you can interact with, like in the first level, there's always a gate or an airlock, and the airlock lets you interact with it and charge it up. I think it's a door, actually. It lets you charge it up, and then when you go through the door, you get to remove one alien from the board for each thing that you charged it up with. So sometimes if you time it right when the aliens are starting to get out of control, you can go through the door and remove some or all of the aliens that you were getting attacked by. It works really nicely. That's on a good day. On a bad day, you just get stomped and stomped and stomped. It's a very hard game. I can probably count on one hand the number of times I've won. But Space Hulk Death Angel is a really interesting game if you could pick it up. It's out of print, so you'd have to get it either in a trade or at a thrift sale. I probably wouldn't go out of my way to pay a lot of money for it. It's not great, but it's a fun little diversion. Again, the kind of game I play a couple times and then I put away for a while. And especially when I have somewhere to go where I'm playing a solo game. So that's Space Hulk Death Angel, the card game. check it out. Pretty enjoyable. Well, that's it for the top of the stack of November 2018. In December, so I forgot to report on the big show, the final thing. So I had 3 games that I was looking to play, plus 1 rollover. The first game I was looking to play was 1960, Making of a President. I did not get that played. Got the rules already. Thought I was going to have a chance, but then it got canceled at the last minute. So we did not get to play 1960. The next one was Kingsport Festival, which is sort of a re-implementation of the Kingsburg game, but with H.P. Lovecraft themed. I did get that played. It was fun. I think we screwed up a couple essential rules, so we'll be playing it again later. Gone Fishin' is a 2-player card game from Cosmos. Cute little kids game where you're trying to find fish and not boots. It was a fun one. I played that with my son. He liked it enough to keep it, but I suggested playing it a couple more times. He didn't want to, so we'll see how long that stays. And finally, the repeat from October was the Martin Wallace game MOA. I actually played a practice game against myself to get ready. And I still haven't gotten it played, but I decided to roll it over into December. So my December top of the stack is Cerebria, the new Mind Clash game, Canal Grande, an Alan Moon card game, and Kings of Air and Steam, a Scott Alms game from TMG. Then my rollover is going to be MOA. So those are the 4 games I'm trying to knock off of my shelf of opportunity before the end of the year. Well, thanks for tuning in, listening to Pick Up and Deliver. I appreciate your time and look forward to talking with you again soon. I hope that your next walk is as pleasant as mine was. Bye-bye.
Brought to you by Rattlebox Games.